really cool to see all of this technology and sort of emerging, computer craft with VR and AR being such a big presence here at MIP TV. This is Pietro Gagliano from a company called Secret Location. They've got one of the coolest VR projects I've seen. It's called Welcome To Wacken? Wacken. Oh, I have to pronounce it correctly. Yes.
With a W.
Wacken is, well, tell us what Wacken is.
Sure. Wacken is a small town in northern Germany of about 2,000 people that inflates to the size of 100,000 people for the biggest heavy metal music festival on planet Earth. And we filmed a VR documentary there just hot off the press recently, and we're really excited about it.
So, who at Secret Location is a big metalhead that is like, dudes, we have to go to Wacken. We have to go and make this documentary.
Well, we actually partnered up with Banger Films for the project, and they're huge metalheads themselves and amazing TV and film producers. But there were several metalheads at Secret Location that were like, if anybody's going to this, I'm going. That's awesome. We sent a small crew over, and they had a blast.
Okay, so this is cool. So you worked with a traditional TV and film production company.
That's right.
And then you guys provided the back end and all of the technology, and I guess kind of merged all of the assets together to make it a seamless thing.
That's right. Yeah, we worked together on crafting the story, and they had more access than we had. We had the technology that they didn't have, so it was a great collaboration between the two companies.
That's amazing. So tell us a little bit about how you put a VR documentary together. What do you got to do to make sure that it, doesn't break the immersion?
Sure, I think that's something that people are figuring out right now, as the medium is so new and the industry is just budding. But really, what we've done at Secret Location for many years is we put the story at the core of the experience, but we bounce it between the technology to make sure that we're not just doing technology for technology's sake, but rather we're letting the art and the technology have a dance with each other.
Right.
So if you have a core story that you assume will be good in VR, you really have to test it in VR and then let the technology inform the story back. So it's something that everyone's figuring out right now. I think that it's been a really interesting process.
I mean, it sounds incredibly exciting, right? Because you really can't screw it up. Because you're just testing things out. You're making it up as you go in a way, right?
That's true. I mean, there were certain assumptions that as we've made a number of VR pieces of content in the last couple of years, there are certain assumptions that you have of, wouldn't this be amazing in virtual reality? And then you go and shoot it and test it, and you find out like, maybe we should have done that a little bit differently. It's a really exciting time to be a content creator in this medium.
When you're cutting a documentary, and we've done some in our production company too, is that you're basically using the dialogue that you record, the interviews that you record, and you cut to the footage. You cut to the example footage to kind of illustrate what the points are that are in that story that you're getting. But I guess in VR, it's a little bit less of that, right? Because the B-roll that you would cut to, we call it B-roll, is basically all around you, and you can just look in every direction while someone's talking.
That's right. Yeah. There are definitely some production considerations when you're filming in 360. Like, for example, we've got a camera right here. You want to plan your shoot as best as possible, and then there is an opportunity in virtual reality, especially in the documentary form, to just be even more transparent, even more real than some of the traditional films have gotten, where you do see the behind the scenes, you see the camera, you see the director. So it's an interesting medium in that way, where you just can't hide anything. Or there's a significant amount of work that goes into post-production to paint things out that you don't want the user to see.
Right. Did you guys do that?
On this one, there's definitely a lot of ground painting out, but we...
Because it was all mud?
Because it was all mud. It was so easy to paint out. It was just dirt. There was we tried to hide the camera stands and the drone and that type of thing as much as possible. But generally speaking, it's very accurate to being there.
Oh, that's amazing. So in your documentary, can people leave the subject and just walk over into the crowd and watch somebody like banging their head for a while? Like, what did you do with that?
In a way, yeah. We've created a 360-degree interface so that users users can look around and explore the subject of the festival. They can go to different vantage points and just kind of soak in the atmosphere, or they can engage in the actual story that we're telling in a linear way.
We're in a hardware war with VR right now too, right? There's so many different platforms and so many different ways. I mean, there's a uniformity to the sort of core experience of VR. But do you now, as you're building a finished product, you have to kind of scale it up and down and make it work on Rift, and then make it work on the Samsung Gear VR and PlayStation VR? Like, how are you guys distributing something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a challenge for all content creators right now. What we've done ourselves is we've actually created a distribution platform to allow content creators to distribute across all the platforms in one place. It's called Vusr, VUSR.co is the URL. And so we actually created that platform for ourselves because we were struggling with that publishing aspect. Having to output for Vive and Oculus and Google and Samsung. So we actually created our own technology to do that, and we're white labeling it, licensing it out to people to do it as well.
So you publish once, but it streams to everything.
That's right. Yeah, that's the intent of that project.
One of the things that I've noticed with downloading VR video type content is you can choose to stream it, or you can choose to download it. Is Welcome to Wacken, greatly improved if you download it to the hard drive?
I'm not sure if we've figured that out for that project yet. That's a dance as well. Everyone's still trying to decide whether download or streaming is the best option. I think that there's good quality either way. I've seen some really good technology streaming, and also downloading is great, although you eat up hardware space on your phone, obviously. Yeah,
totally. I've asked this of a couple of other VR creators. Now that you're in the space and you're working with the hardware that's available to us, how do we iterate on that? What do you now want out of VR hardware that the hardware manufacturer should be listening to?
Well, I think that, coming from me, I think that they're doing it already. There's talks of inside-out tracking for a self-contained mobile units. You hear whispers in the industry of that happening soon.
So you won't need to be setting up sensors everywhere, and it'll be room tracking even if you're using a mobile phone.
That's right. Yeah, some kind of tethered or wireless inside-out tracking experience that I can lean into the experience without needing cameras tracking my every movement, which is coming. I don't know how soon that's coming, but that'll make a big difference for 360 video in particular.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, is Secret Location, is this the drive for your company now, is to keep making more VR documentaries or VR kind of narrative type material like this, or do you guys go into all kinds of different stuff?
Well, definitely virtual reality and augmented reality is something that's emerging right now, and we're constantly attracted to emerging platforms to make content for. Also products for as well. So in the foreseeable future, this looks like where we're going to be playing, but we've always just gone with whatever technology is emerging, whatever platforms are the most interesting space to play in. That's sort of where Secret Location goes.